I open my watch and this looks so fake. Like, what the heck? What is this? This is like a half full bag of chips and you just feel cheated. I also got this one. Ooh, not the best frame rate settings for that. And the reason why I got it was that I wanted to move more because I felt like I did not take like 10,000 steps in a day. I didn't want to use my phone to track it, and I also didn't want to use like my super small old wearable, my Mi Band, because the display has gone dark, and this is a problem a lot of people have. But I couldn't fix it. Nobody seems to be able to fix it. And so I was like, okay, fuck it. I need something to give me external motivation. I don't have any internal motivation to do good things for my body other than eat and figure skate. And by the way, that is not a good combination. Here we go with toxic beauty standards. But yeah, it's easier to jump if you don't have a fat ass.
Fat ass 901. You were supposed to land like 5 hours ago. Fat X, not fat ass.
There, I said it. You can kill me now. It's physics, it's angular momentum, guys. It has nothing to do with what I feel or what I like. Because I like a bag of chips, like a full one, 100% chips, not just air. Anyway, but as implied by the title of this video, which I hopefully chose wisely, well, I'm not too happy with wearables overall and just bugs in general in your apartment. Because this thing has a microphone, it's right here, and you can basically shake it on your wrist like that and just say stopwatch. And then it starts stopwatch and does fancy shit. When it works, it kind of comes in handy. But I find it weird that it doesn't have a speaker, but it does have a microphone, you know? There should be an option with no speaker and no microphone, because basically you don't need it to navigate the menu, and it's not that much of an asset. So, red flag. Second reason why I wanted one, other than being motivated to walk more, was to track my sleep cycles and see if I breathe nicely and sleep enough, and also to again motivate me to go to bed earlier, which I usually just don't do because I'm one of these people who get really, really active when it becomes dark outside, and then I'm just like, oh, now I suddenly have the energy to do stuff, all the energy that I didn't have during the day, miraculously now it is there. Let's start working on all these things and fall asleep past midnight and then just wake up when my kid wakes up with the like brain pain of the century, I guess. Let me just say, it didn't work. It's the same as with a gym membership. When you're not really into working out, you just have to find a different sport. If you don't want to lift weights, don't lift weights. Don't trick yourself into being into it when you're not into it, or you're just doing it because your partner does it. You don't have to do the same sport. In fact, I think it's a better idea to do different sports, because then you have things to talk about, you know? And you also don't compete against each other. But I also think it's nice to have the same sport, because my husband and I both figure skate, and that's nice, mostly because I'm better at it. So now what's the problem with these wearables? First of all, they collect a lot of data that they then send to their servers, and then your data is there. It should be on your device. A good example of an app that doesn't do that is Sleep Like Android, I think, or Sleep for Android. It's a sleep tracker, and it can use your phone. You don't need a wearable to track your sleep. But then again, you know, I wanted to track my steps also. You can use it on your phone. Just put your phone on your pillow, and then it'll track your movements, and it's pretty accurate, it's pretty techy, and I just like the collection of data in general. You can always learn more from data compared to just subjectively observing what you are doing. And sleep is a very good example for that, because I usually go about my sleep as in, oh, I just feel so tired, I must have a horrible sleep because I'm just always exhausted. But what actually gives you a good feeling is when you look at a chart and you see, okay, today I had 4 hours of deep sleep and I feel better than last night, because then I only had 3 hours of deep sleep, and that is why I felt that way. Or you see a pattern as in, I went to bed super early and slept nicely through the night, and that is why I feel better today. I mean, it is common sense. You don't need a wearable to know that, but just the acknowledgement, it makes me think again about my habits and be like, I really should do that more often. There's an objective element to that you don't have if you just subjectively listen to yourself, evaluate how you feel and stuff like that. Even though this would be the more superior approach, you know, just to be in tune with yourself, your bodily functions, your feelings and everything. I'm just not that person, okay? And I don't want to change myself almost 40 and be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna gonna be so intuitive and I don't want to change. I want to measure stuff because I like to measure stuff. It's just how I am. Also, as a physicist, measurements of any kind are just naturally interesting to me. I love data, I love working with data, and I love finding connections and correlations. Anyway, back to the Sleep as Android app. It does not send anything to the cloud unless you want to participate in the improvement of the app. And I don't. So no, I don't like that this watch gives away my data to somebody and I have no control over it. And I would much prefer if they do it like the Sleep as Android people do it and just store the data on your phone and you can withdraw it whenever you like to. But the thing is, I didn't buy this wearable because I like the company so much, or because I trust them, or because I think it's a good product. I bought it because it was affordable, it had the options that I wanted, and it does what I needed for. But it's closed source. That is a major pressure point for me. I really don't like that. I just really fundamentally dislike the idea of sharing that data. On the other hand, of course, I'm like, dude, it's not sensitive data as long as I'm healthy. All you will see is that I have a low heart rate at night because I'm an athlete, that I'm pretty fit, and that I basically have no sleep issues. So it's not like anybody could be like, oh yeah, let's sell this to the health insurance company and then you'll be frightened because you have secretly bad health and didn't tell them about it. Like, my health is probably better than they think. But yeah, that's not a good reason for anything. That's a fucking lame reason. And it's an argument that a lot of people use, when they don't want to think about who they share their data with and what they consent to without reading the terms of service. They just want to say, well, I have nothing to hide. Well, if you have nothing to hide, then why doesn't, the government have the key to your apartment? You have nothing to hide. Let's say you're not a criminal, so you have nothing that would incriminate you in your apartment, and the police would someday just knock on your door and say like, oh, this is a routine check. We are searching for some criminal. Could we have a look around in your property? I would not invite them in and be like, no problem, just look around, take out all my books, look at all my stuff, evaluate all my habits, maybe have a sleepover, officer? That's nuts. You wouldn't do that even if the police would knock on your door. You would call your lawyer or just say, no, Am is fit. You're willing to tell them how you slept last night. You're willing to tell them what your heart rhythm is. You would even share with them that you need a CPAP machine at night. And when you bring that kind of argument, people are usually saying that this is not the same, this is different, and this is not that sensitive of a data set. But I disagree. It's not sensitive until it is. And you, as a standard user, cannot know when that point in time will be. Right now, it's not sensitive data. It's the same with, cameras in cities everywhere. Oh yeah, great, the sense of security. I mean, not that crime rates go down because of that, just criminals get more sophisticated. But I feel more safe when there is a camera watching me while I withdraw money from an ATM. But what if that camera captures you while you are just in the wrong place at the wrong time, while something is happening, you had nothing to do with the crime that occurred, but now you're a suspect. I personally just don't want to live in a dystopian future where you get an alert because your heart rate has been up for 5 days just because you are having a terrible breakup. That is nobody's concern but yours. Or maybe the person you broke up with. Or maybe your doctor if you're feeling like shit, and your doctor shouldn't share it with anybody else. I mean, they share enough with the health insurance companies already. And beyond the point that it is in your interest as a patient. Also, very ironically, the people who do not care about where their Google photo albums end up or where the data from these wearables ends up, they are the first to complain at some school play that you shouldn't film their kids. So I think we should make up our minds about two things here. The one is, do I care about my personal data? And why don't I care about certain parts of this personal health data set? Why is it that I am being mindless when it comes to this kind of data that is stored on these devices, shared with a closed source app? By the way, I looked into open source wearables and they're so terrible. I would have totally bought one. I would have paid a huge price for that, just like I did with my Fairphone. But there isn't anything that is remotely as good as this one. So that sucks. Anyway, we need to be more selective and more mindful with what we're sharing. I am truly thinking about an alternative to this device. What can I do? Could I just go back to collecting data in a different way? Should I go back to analog? Because, you know, I could count my steps just using a simple mechanical step counter. I could do so many things that are easier and still usable to me. So it is in the end a problem of complacency, of me just wanting to be comfortable, just wanting to have something nice and cute that works and that I like. But in the end, I have to ask myself, if this device was missing from my life, would I truly miss anything? And I must answer that with no. When I am without a phone, even without internet, I truly don't care. In fact, those are the happiest moments, when I don't have reception, when my phone is out of battery, when I just put it down at night, put it in a different spot, like far away from my bed, and I read a book. When I, instead of watching my phone, watch my kid. When I, instead of listening to music, listen to nature. When I use my camera to take a snapshot. And when I share a moment instead of a picture. These are the happiest moments, not the ones that have to do with wearables, my phone, or making my life more efficient. So this is not a video containing a solution, I am aware of that. I just wanted to point to a problem and say, yeah, I got that problem too. I don't think it's cool. I don't want to live like that, I think. I'm working on it. And what is your solution? Do you have a wearable? Are you happy with it? Do you feel kind of uncomfortable with the amount of data that you share? Just let me know your opinions. I really want to hear them. That's it.